A few months ago, inspired by videos such as listening to the same song for 10 hours or guy watches a pot of water boiling,
Yep.
an idea struck me. Why not create my own unique video series filled with effort and determination, yet seemingly pointless? But here's the twist. I decided to focus on something I already love, something I do regularly. And that's how the idea for this video series was born. A year-long journey of training in CSGO every single day for 365 days. I would play, record, post and extract data from each day so that I can precisely measure my progress. At the end of the year, I would look at how much I improved and tell the world, see, I started as a noob and now I'm a good CSGO player, so respect me, mom. And guess what? We've reached the halfway mark, my friends. For the past 6 months, I've been recording and posting my progress. You won't believe it, but I haven't fallen victim to carpal tunnel syndrome yet. I still have another 6 months to tackle this challenge, so wish me luck. For those of you who only want to know if I improved or not, I will answer that question now. So drumroll please. Yes! At the beginning of the series, I only had 180 hours of CSGO experience accumulated over a few years, but now I proudly stand at 400 hours, surpassing my total playtime for previous years in just 6 months. It's simple logic, really. The more you play, the better you become. But this series is not just about my personal improvements. It goes beyond that, just like the game itself goes beyond the point-and-click mechanics. Through meticulous data collection and organization into spreadsheets and charts, I aim to unravel the secrets of mastering CSGO. From game settings to hardware, gameplay styles, mechanics, postures and the other details, I'm delving into every single possible aspect. With countless variations and a wealth of information to process, it's a challenge to remember what worked and what didn't, so that's why writing stuff down helps.
Remember kids, the only difference between screwing around and science is writing it down.
I may not have made drastic improvements in this past 6 months, but I've certainly gained a wealth of knowledge that I'd like to share with all of you. So here is my newfound wisdom. First thing first, don't attempt this at home. Trust me, repeating the same methods day in and day out will only lead you down a path of madness. Instead, tap into the power of the CSGO community. Countless tutorial videos are available to help beginners like myself kickstart their journey. Watch a few of those detailed guides, experiment with a few settings, and you will be well on your way. Of course, investing in the best gear you can afford is a smart move, but the real key lies in honing your awareness. How you move, where you look, and precisely where you place your cursor. Simple yet crucial. And remember, it's not just about clocking in endless hours of playtime. Playing frequently is important, but don't force yourself into marathon sessions. Play the game even when you're not in the mood, as it can help you push your boundaries. But here's the catch. Take regular breaks. You might not realize it, but you're training more than just your in-game skills. Your arms, wrists, and even your brain need some downtime to rest and grow stronger. So every now and then, take a couple of days off. Trust me, it will do wonders for your overall performance. I received a flood of comments, not just on these review videos, but on my daily uploads as well. The community has been incredibly supportive, teaching me new approaches and pointing out my mistakes along the way. Thank you for your feedback. I learned about the flaws in my initial training routine. I used to stand still while hunting bots, aimed at big, easy targets during target practice, and mindlessly sprayed bullets while charging forward in deathmatches. If I had continued down that path, I would have wasted precious days of my life. Fortunately, I listened to your advice and started implementing gradual changes. Here's how it went. I would modify one aspect of my gameplay, meticulously record data for a few days, then move to the next adjustment. In my trusty spreadsheet, I even have a special column dedicated to noting the changes made in each specific day. Over time, I upped the ante by making my routine more challenging. I started moving more, chose smaller and smaller targets, and practiced advanced techniques like counter-strafing and other complex mechanics that enhance the intricacies of this game. And guess what? my progress didn't go down or plateau. Even though the game itself became harder for me, my overall skills continued to improve. And this reaffirmed my belief that this dedicated grind was turning me into a well-rounded player. Now, let's talk about the serious stuff.
Gear.
Do keyboards and mice need to be high-end gaming-grade devices? Not necessarily. Personally, I've played just as well with a basic $2 membrane keyboard as I do with my fancy mechanical one. After all, keyboards are pretty straightforward. Just a bunch of buttons you press on. As long as the keys don't stick due to a soda accident, any decent working keyboard should suffice. Mice, on the other hand, are a more delicate subject, as this is the primary input device for the game. You could spend a few dollars on a higher end mouse, but I've done runs with cheap ones that perform admirably. A very important factor to consider though is the shape. It should feel comfortable and cater to the size of your hand. Sure, you can upgrade to get finer DPI control, more buttons, a bit more precision, or materials that make it easier to glide across the mousepad, but in my opinion, all of these are just diminishing returns. Here's a controversial statement. Mousepads are more important than the mouse itself. If you have an expensive mouse but a subpar mousepad, you've essentially handicapped the potential of the mouse. You might as well be using one of those dingus laptop mice. A good mousepad allows your arm and mouse to glide effortlessly, ensures accurate mouse tracking, and keeps you comfortable even when things get sweaty and intense. I highly recommend investing in a quality textile mousepad. Keep it clean and well maintained for optimal performance, and it will take care of you back. Speaking of mousepads, I started my journey with a vinyl one, and let me tell you, it was a sticky, sweaty nightmare. My skin would cling to it, my mouse cursor will skip around, a less than pleasant experience. I now use a textile Legion one that makes a world of difference. As for monitors, you might wonder if a high refresh rate really matters. Surprisingly for me, it doesn't seem to make a significant difference. A substantial portion of my training was done on an all monitor with a mere 45Hz refresh rate. Recently, I've upgraded to a snazzy 165Hz monitor as an experiment, and I must admit that the performance boost from the monitor upgrade wasn't as noticeable as I expected. In fact, I have data to back this up. By contrast, changing my mouse DPI had a far more profound impact on my gameplay. Initially, I played with the default mouse settings completely unaware that my mouse even had a DPI button or what DPI meant. However, by following the community's advice, I adjusted my eDPI and the results were astonishing. My average target hits per game skyrocketed from a measly 50 to over 500. Now here's where things get interesting. I've asked this a couple of times. What matters most, the mouse or the monitor's refresh rate? Every time I've asked, the answer seemed to favor the monitor. But is this an actual fact or just a myth? To be honest, I don't have a definitive answer. All I can say is that personally, I would prioritize a better mouse-mousepad combo over a higher refresh rate monitor. For the sake of it, I recorded a couple of runs comparing my old and new monitors. They both yielded similar results. Perhaps in a highly competitive context, the monitor matters more, but for an average player like me who enjoys a few deathmatches now and then, I should perhaps invest more in upgrading my PC. And speaking of PCs, investing in a machine capable of running the game smoothly is crucial. After all, you can't play if you can't even launch the game, right? Unfortunately, my setup has its fair share of issues. Playing on Linux is troublesome as I encounter bugs, crashes, and occasional game freezes, especially when I'm recording. A better PC would elevate my gameplay, but new parts come with a hefty price tag. I've even asked my fiancée, soon-to-be wife, if my happiness is worth $1,000, and she said no. So for now, I'll continue grinding away with my decent, not top-of-the-line machine. And please don't ask for higher quality videos, thank you. Now let's move on to game settings. The game resolution, in my opinion, and I dare say, shared by many in the community, is mostly a matter of personal preference. I spent most of my gaming life playing on a CRT display, so I don't mind the boxy aspect ratio. 4:3 stretched on a widescreen display looks wrong to me though. I prefer to play the game with its best aesthetics. It keeps me connected to the fond memories of my childhood internet cafe sessions. So decent part of my videos are in 16:9 resolution, but recently I switched to a 4:3 window since running full screen on my 32-inch is like watching a movie at the cinema from the front row. From all the things that you can tweak in the game settings, there's one that packs a punch like no other, the infamous mouse sensitivity. It's the secret ingredient to your gaming success. Now, Wu had this genius idea of narrowing down to the most used values. It sounds fancy, but trust me, it will make your life easier. Picture this, you have three options: go high, go low, or find the sweet spot in between. But hey, don't underestimate the impact of your choice. It's not just about how fast your mouse moves, it affects your entire gaming experience. If you go for lower sensitivity, get ready to make sweeping arms motion like a maestro conducting an orchestra. Keeping your desk at the right height is also important. Too high and your arm will grind on the surface and inhibit movement, too low and your wrist will cry. That classic arms at 90 degrees is the only option. Over the years of being glued to my PC, I've become accustomed to higher sensitivity. It's become a bad habit that's tough to break. So in my quest for precision, I decided to try a lower sensitivity. The result? Increased precision, lots more headshots, but oh the pain. My poor arm couldn't handle the strain. I was using my wrist to aim still instead of my arm, so I had to resort to strapping chopsticks to my arm to force my wrist into submission. Sure, my overall score took a nosedive, but guess what? It worked. I started using my wrist less and less, and eventually scores started going up and the pain went away. But here's the thing. Lower sensitivity means surgical precision, perfect headshots, but only if you have your cursor placement game on point. Flicks and long distance cursor movements, not so easy. On the flip side, higher sensitivity means lightning fast reflexes when you spot an enemy, but you sacrifice a bit of that surgical precision. I can engage more enemies when I play with high sense, but I fall back to spray and pray techniques. In the end, settings are simply preference. But what about hardware? The eternal debate. Both have their role to play, but quality hardware can make a world of difference. Trust me, it's like upgrading from a croissant to a
croissant.
I'm currently faced with a dilemma regarding my next steps. If I continue with the existing routine for another 6 months, the rate of improvement will be minimal. Having already made numerous adjustments to settings and hardware configurations, the only remaining variable I can modify is the selection of maps I play on. However, this is a challenge, as the ones that I've chosen provide a clear and measurable way to track progress. They are simple and constant. If you have any suggestions, please share them in the comments below. Based on previous comments, I plan to explore community deathmatches with a particular focus on finding ones that include timed rounds like Valve's DMs and that are not queue limited. Additionally, I might consider replacing one of those two target practice rounds with a different map such as a counter-strafe practice. I greatly appreciate your input and ideas as I navigate this critical stage. Thank you in advance for your support. 6 months went fast and another 6 will fly by as well. I can already see the end. I can almost smell it. It smells like a... Oh my god. Babe, the dog just shat on my carpet. Oh, and I've run it over with the wheels of my chair. Bad dog. Bad. Damn it, gotta go bye.